Welcome to the Kim B. Davis Show. Here we'll talk to the leaders in technology, culture, business, and the arts. We'll cover politics, advocacy, motherhood, writing, mental health, and mostly we'll focus on hope. Join Kim B. Davis, author, playwright, radio personality, event consultant, professional speaker on the Kim B. Davis Show.
Good evening and welcome to the Kim B. Davis Show. I'm your host, Kim B. Davis, and this evening we have a dynamo in the community. We have Tarence Wheeler. Now, he's got a lot of titles, so I got to make sure I get it right. He is an entrepreneur, a community activist. He is also the Director of Corporate and Community Affairs at River Rouge School District. Good evening, Tarence Wheeler. How are you?
I am phenomenal, Kim. Thanks for having me. I know that you know a lot of people. You could have selected anybody to be on your show. I am honored to be a part of it. Thank you.
Well, thank you. You know, here at the Kim B. Davis Show, we are all about healing and hope, and especially talking about issues around mental health. But I really want to talk about community because you are doing some fantastic things and supporting our young people. And so I really want to talk about how do we support young people coming out of COVID? We have been through this last year has been incredibly difficult for many kids. And you had a wonderful thing that happened today. So why don't you tell us about it and tell us how it came to be?
So today we had a high school graduation. We had it in three parts, 10 a.m., 12 p.m., and 2 p.m. And just wanted to provide energy and empathy for our young people to let them know that this has been a tough 15 months, that, you know, you haven't been in the classroom, especially Kim, for those extroverted kids who really are social, who need to touch, who need to talk to teachers, who need a high five in the hallway, a hug in the lunchroom. It's been increasingly difficult for those kids. And so today we had our graduation. We had a DJ out there. It's outside. It's a stage. It's a drive-by, but the energy is high. You love it on young people. You give them hugs. You congratulate them for endurance. And you're giving them hope for the future because you know their story. Like a lot of these kids I saw come in as freshmen, and I know the obstacles in which they had to overcome. And so I get emotional because I love them like they're my own kids, and especially the kids that you know to go through a lot just to cross the finish line. And I'll say this, my sister, that every kid deserves a champion, but every kid doesn't have a champion. See, schools is supposed to be a safe haven for our young people. And so what we were able to do in the past is I can identify if I see a kid walking down the hallway. Hey, John, what's going on? You know that he's a little disheveled. Maybe some stuff going on at home, but because of the COVID, we wasn't able to really see kids except on Zoom. And Zoom doesn't give you a clear indication. Zoom and Microsoft Teams does not give you an indication of what's going on in the household. Kids are being transient. We lost kids. They moved around. And if a kid has lost grandma, the breadwinner, they move in with somebody else, numbers getting changed. So it's chaotic for a while. So to have the end of the year celebration, to just celebrate them was great. And it was emotional for a lot of us adults who really, really love these kids past their pain, because me as a child of poverty, I see myself in those kids. And so I go all out, and I try to go the extra mile because so many did it for me. And what I realized, Kim, is that their success is predicated on adult participation. It doesn't have to be my biological child, but it's a child that's in need. I have to meet those needs as an adult and give them hope and inspiration to move on to the next day.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Excellent, excellent. You are absolutely correct. So I learned during this pandemic, I'm not a teacher. I don't want to be a teacher. Teachers are not paid enough money. We need to pay teachers more money. For teachers, because this is my last week of kids, or this is our last week of school for my sons. So what advice or what would you say to teachers who are struggling? Because the pandemic was rough, where all those situations you talk about, transient behavior where kids are moving from place to place, teachers are trying to track down kids, they're trying to make sure work gets done, you still have behavioral issues happening on the screen, all those things. What would you say to teachers to bolster them on so that they will come back in the fall?
Number one thing I'll say is I appreciate you. I appreciate you for what you do. I appreciate your skill set. There's no job that's created without a teacher.
That's right.
It's no job. Secondly, I would say that we have to have, there's a reciprocity of empathy that needs to happen from the child and the teacher. We both have to understand we went through some traumatic experiences and how we can get through them together. And then I would say forge relationships with our young people. You wasn't able to do a lot of that on Zoom because I'm able to see you. But hey, Kim, how are you doing today? Hey, Marcus, how's everything going? Are you having some trouble in that assignment? If you can have, so it's 5 days in a school week. If you talk to a kid every day, hello, hi, Kim, hi, Kim, hi, Kim, Monday through Friday, by the end of that month, that is 20 contacts I've had with Kim. Over a 10-month period, that is 200 contacts I've had with Kim. We have a relationship.
That's right.
Now you have an intersection of empathy meets trust. Relationship meets trust. Now I can better serve you. I cannot serve you if I don't know you, and if you don't know me, because these kids are coming, most of them, from situations where they don't trust adults. Somebody that looked like you have hurt me. Somebody that looked like you have lied to me. Somebody that looked like you have molested me, has sexually assaulted me, has said you was coming to pick me up. So I say I made a vow to every young person. I am not gonna lie to you. If I can't do something, I'll tell you I can't do it. I'm gonna hold you accountable. I'm going to expose you to many different things because poverty is not just about money, Kim. It limits access to people that can help you. I want to expose young people to whether it be DAC, whether it be Crystal Gardens, all these different places that have been elusive because of finances. I want kids to go and say, hey, I can go to DIA. I can see this art on the wall. Maybe I want to be an artist. Or I can go here to the Detroit Golf Club because maybe one day I want to be a golfer. Not just a 6-block radius where poverty is high. These kids, I've never met a young person in my 24 years of working with young people that said to me, Mr. Wheeler, I want to be a failure. I don't want to succeed. They're not able to be successful because adults have failed them miserably. Adults are judging them, not loving them past their pain. And most kids are in predicaments of no fault of their own. They can't go get a job at 10, at 9, at 8.
That's right.
It's based on that parent. So if that parent has them in a negative household or a household with bad energy, that kid comes to school with bad energy. And now we have to meet that energy and say, hold on. And right here, you're safe. You're safe here. But make sure these kids are getting 3 meals a day. If I have a relationship with Kim, I'll know that, okay, there's no food at home. So guess what, Kim? I'm going to put some food in this backpack at our mobile food pantry. You can carry it home. So now you're not being teased on the bus because you got a bag of potatoes. You see, your backpack is discreet. If adults do things discreetly, we can help a multitude of young people.
That is an amazing idea. And you know what? We don't often think about that because I think we think, oh, well, we have a food pantry. They need food. Let's give them food. But you don't realize that because kids are kids no matter what. And regardless if you are in a situation of poverty, people are going to tease you. And somebody is always going to make you feel worse than they do. Regardless if you all have the same amount of money, they're going to say, well, you know, I'm not carrying a bag of potatoes home. They may not have potatoes at home. They may actually be jealous that you have potatoes, but they're going to make you feel bad because of it. And so then it makes that kid, well, I don't want to carry potatoes home because not everybody's going to tease me and not everybody knows that I look poor. Even though that's not what you should be worried about. But at the age of 8, 9, 10, whatever the age is, that is what you're worried about because you're a kid. That is your whole world. And so you are absolutely right about that. So I want to flip it. What would you say to parents? Because there are lots of parents who have struggled. They are working, they're trying to balance taking care of their kids, helping encourage them, teaching them when the system goes down, or being that extra teacher at home with an assignment that maybe the child didn't quite understand in school. And so they're trying to pick up the slack. What would you say to those parents to help encourage them?
I would say parental involvement is the key. We're partners. It's Michael Jordan and Scottie Pippen. We have to work together. You have to have a relationship with that teacher. And it's not in a contentious manner. It's what's best for the child. If the child is struggling, if you can't help little Tim or Jamal with his homework, then you got to call that teacher. Hey, I don't quite understand this because You guys are doing math completely different than how I understood math to be. It's a relay. It goes back to that relationship. I look at it from, and I think we at River Rouge look at it from a holistic point of view, is that we want the entire child, the entire body, the entire family. How can we help you pass this situation? Because there's always going to be obstacles, but what can we help? How can we overcome that obstacle? Make sure that teacher is available. Number one, I got the right phone number. I'm communicating with you, whether it be Facebook, Instant Messenger, Twitter, Instagram, whatever it takes. I'm gonna call you, Mom. I promise you. I'm gonna call you. We're gonna figure this thing out. If you need to come on a Saturday somewhere, we meet at the library, whatever that is, we've got to get this kid across the finish line. And I think that if we have an unapologetic commitment to our young people, they can win. We can win. Stop meeting them with conditions. Stop being worried about, well, why is his pants sagging? Why he don't comb his hair? Why is that dress too tight? Perhaps that's all they have.
Exactly.
Perhaps they're living in a shelter. Perhaps they're sleeping in a car. Perhaps they're on a run from a domestic violence situation. Perhaps somebody just died who was the breadwinner. Now they're homeless. You are one or two instances away from being homeless, an accident, a loss of job, whatever may have you. So quit judging these kids without knowing their options. Show some empathy to our parents, and our parents show empathy to our teachers, because teachers have a very, very difficult job. To be able to deal with 30 different personalities or 25 in a classroom and deal with parents on top of all that and try to meet whatever score the state decides is the adequate score. But that score doesn't tell you that Kim is hungry, that Kim hadn't ate all day, that Kim has an abandonment issue because she hasn't seen her father, that Kim has a resentment issue because the mama's boyfriend gets the big piece of chicken, whatever that may have you. The score is not going to tell you that, Kim. The score says, well, it's 3 hours. What did you do? That score doesn't mean that you're going to be successful. I know plenty of people that test well but fail in life.
Yes. We know plenty of people that have degrees that know absolutely nothing.
Right. Can't even talk to you.
Exactly. So, I got to mess with you. So, you went Michael Jordan and Scottie Pippen. I understand, but I'm going to need you to come back over to the Pistons side and go.
Okay, Dumas Isaiah. Yeah, okay. Let's go Dumas Isaiah. Yeah, okay. That's cool. I can do that.
I just had to mess with you. So, but no, you are absolutely on point. It has to be a relationship. It's twofold. Parents and teachers have to support one another in order to help our young people. So I want to pivot a little bit, because you have this great wraparound service that you do for young people in the community. Tell us about it.
The latest thing that we're embarked on right now is our feminine hygiene campaign. And the turkey drive at first, Kim, for the last 20 years has been like my baby project, because it started out of pain because me and my mother was in a food line at Focus Hope on Livernois and Vernon area, and then to come full circle and to be able to provide food for needy families, that's been near and dear to my heart. But the last 4 years at River Rouge, we've done the feminine hygiene campaign, and that has taken on a different level of passion. Thus far this year has been our best year. In the pandemic, we have collected almost 10,000 pads and pain liners for our young lady. So when school starts in September, the 4 schools in River Rouge will have what they need. But here's what I want to do. I want to put pressure on people around the country to say, listen, every school district in this country should have a resource room for our young ladies. Protect our girls. This is a barrier to education. When young ladies don't have what they need, they oftentimes don't come to school, or they come to school hoping this doesn't start today. Right. And if it starts today, guess what? Kim's gonna get bullied by somebody else. Now her self-esteem is at play. Or she decides, I ain't going to school no more. She's out and about in the community. Michigan's top 10 for human trafficking. We lose it to the streets, we'll lose it forever. So to put pressure on companies, Procter and Gamble, to say, hey, let's partner, let's go around the country and pass out pads and penalties to every school district. Girls should not have to worry about this, and it shouldn't be taxed. I don't understand why there's not an outcry. Why are you taxing pads and paint liners when you know that these young ladies need this. I mean, so this has been a project that means a lot to me. And to be able to help young ladies get what they need discreetly and not disrupt education, and to know that they'll never have to meet me. It ain't about me. It's about going to see Miss Johnson, going to see Miss Williams, going to see Miss Smiley, and getting what you need and never have to worry about someone talking about you. That's what I'm talking about. Those are the services that young people need. And see, if you talk to young people, they'll tell you exactly what they need. Now, you as an adult need to go out there and find the resources and bring those resources back to our young ladies. I'm looking to do a belt campaign for our young men, because oftentimes it's not even their fault. Sometimes the mother buys the jeans, or the father, and don't think about buying a belt. And so we are judging this young man. Pull your pants up. Let's get him a belt. Now what? And once I get you a belt and I show you, then I can hold you accountable.
Right.
Only then, though. So sometimes those belts are added expense. Maybe you only had enough money to get the jeans. I don't know. But let's eliminate these non-academic barriers. Barriers belong on freeways, not in education.
I love that saying. That is so appropriate. I think sometimes we don't think about feminine hygiene, or the fact that someone might not have a belt, or they might not have shoes, or they might not have a coat, or they might not have food or a place to stay as a barrier. But from working in the community, all of those things are barriers. And if you don't deal with them, kids aren't going to necessarily say anything to you. They're just going to react until you figure out what the problem is.
Yes, true. Yes, and you know what happens, Kim, is that, so I come in, and I haven't had my clothes washed for 3 or 4 days. Kim started talking about me. All the kids started laughing at me. All of a sudden, now I become the Mike Tyson of the school. I got to fight everybody that's talking about me. And this could have been avoided if the adult has a relationship and say, dang, Tarence will wear the same clothes all week. Let me talk to him after class discreetly. Hey, what's going on? Maybe we can wash your clothes before class. Get you some supplementary clothes to wear in between, because no kid wants to be funky, and no teacher wants to teach a funky kid. So let's eliminate these barriers. If we can do that, kids can now receive this translation of education and go ahead and reach their potential. But what we're doing is we boggle down with test scores and what Kim looks like and what so-and-so looks like. Who cares? Let's get these kids in a safe space. I'm also embarking on something that is outside of my scope, but I got to do it, Kim. It's the LGBTQ community. I'm having too many kids over the last 3 or 4 years that are talking to me about certain issues that they're having, and I don't care what your sexual orientation is, you deserve to be in a safe space to learn. And so how do we create that? So I've been on Zoom calls with the Diversity Council, just taking classes, just going to talk to young people so I can get a better understanding of what you need. Then I can pass that to the superintendent, the deputy soup. Hey, have we thought about this? Have we thought about that? Because we have to address it. We have to deal with it. Kids should not be feeling ostracized because I identify with this particular situation. Well, I want to wear this, I want to wear that. How do we help them? How do we as adults put them in an environment that they can learn, that they can excel? The word education is derived from the Latin word educe, means to extract potential. We got to bring it out of you. I got to put you in a safe place, though, to bring that out of you. Also, it's something that we're trying to complete is the air filtration system, especially downriver at River Rouge, where you have an exorbitant amount of pollution. You have kids that 30 to 35% are asthmatic. So we can create an environment where they have new air filtration systems in our schools. Then that's better breathing. It's just better overall for your self-esteem, knowing that I'm asthmatic or knowing that I'm living here, but I now can breathe fresh air. The teachers feel good. Everybody feels comfortable to be able to excel. And we got to be able to make sure that we're doing things at an elite level and we're operating with excellence.
Yes. Terrence, you set the standard for how people should work in the community. So I want to go to your favorite saying that you say all the time. If not us, then who? And as
Yes.
as I'm listening to you, I'm
Mhm.
like, he answered his own question. He was like, if we're not doing it, then who's gonna do it? So I guess I might as well step up and do it. Tell us how you came up with that. And am I correct? Is that how that came to be?
Yeah, just thinking about, okay, I just get frustrated. I don't do well waiting on other people.
Mm-hmm.
I'm action. Let's make it happen. Let's figure this thing out, because people who are in a crisis, they don't have time. They don't have 2 weeks. They don't have a 30-day net. This is an emergency right now. So I prided myself. I prided myself on having resources and knowing everybody, so that if somebody has a fire, can we call Wayne Metro? Can I call Salvation Army? Can I get a bed? Can I help with utilities, the DTE? Can I do this? Because families are in need. It's once again alleviating barriers, because that what happens is now that child is coming to school at 7:30 in the morning and saying, Mr. Wheeler, our lights got cut off. When I could have probably did a program a month earlier and been proactive, because I know wintertime is coming. I know winter's coming, Kim. It's coming in November, December. It's going to get real cold. So why not have a program in September, at the latest in October, to now help Kim get on a payment plan, help Kim clear up some of the arrearages. So now this child is not dealing with adultification. A 10-year-old child should not be worried about the light and gas bill. Mm-hmm. Should not be fighting the ex-boyfriend or fighting the new girlfriend. That kid should be 10 years old, allowed to sleep 8 to 10 hours, allowed to go learn in a safe place. So when I say if not us, then who? If not now, then when? What are we waiting on? They're not coming. We are the cavalry. We have enough resources in our phones. We know enough people to sit down and strategize. Kim may not be able to give me $1,000 herself, but we got 4 people that can give us $250. Guess what? We got $1,000.
That's right.
We got 10 people that give us $100. We there. We meet our goal, and we can help young people. And everybody can help a young person. It doesn't take a whole lot. It's a relationship. It's saying, hey, young lady, what do you need to be successful? Well, Kim, I need a bra. I'm gonna need some panties. I'm gonna need some pantyhose. I need some shoes. I need a little purse, a little lipstick. Just what those little barriers can be met. It goes a long way. And then now, when they become successful, they can help somebody else. Because I'm not standing here, Kim, without the village. I'm a product of the village. I'm not standing here with a mother that was on drugs and a father that was absent. I'm not standing here had it not been for those people who saw something in me, who believed in me. I'm not a teenage father had it not been for Cheryl Harshaw giving me game for free as a teenager. Hey, if you ain't careful, this can happen. Mm-hmm. I don't have a Perry Watson who's saying, use basketball, don't let basketball use you. Mm-hmm.
Amazing.
A Mr. Perk who takes me to a Perry Watson and says, hey, you need to be with this black man because he is about kids. Kids are getting opportunities at this particular school is where you need to be at. The environment is conducive for you to learn. It's safe. And if you play your cards right and you have some discipline and dedication and you listen, you'll walk out of here with a scholarship. Those things happen. So if I could do it, they could do it.
They really do. And that is amazing. So you talk about the village, and we all know that the village is your support system. However, there are lots of people that lack that. They don't have a support system. It's just them. And then it's always interesting whenever I'm out in the community and I meet new people and they say, well, I'm sort of looking for something to support. I don't kind of know, but I'm just here to see if this is something I want to support. How do you inspire people who don't have that connection? Because you talk about the village. The village is easy to do because they understand.
Yeah. I would say this, Kim, I would also challenge those individuals. If someone's not doing something you want to do, then you start it. Mm-hmm. You be the fire starter to say, hey, you know what? I'm going to start my own little movement. Maybe I got a movement of, I'm collecting lipstick for girls, or I'm collecting prom dresses. You start that movement, somebody else is probably thinking about it. Don't wait for somebody else. Now, if you can find someone, do your research. I would implore people, do your research. I think that people want to give, Kim. I really do. I think that people have been hurt by other people that have given money or resources to people who hadn't done right. It never gets to the kid. So I would say do your research and take your time to make sure that this organization or this individual is who they say they're supposed to be. Because you could be serving people, but what people are you serving?
Right.
And so I would also, like I say, I don't have the patience no more to wait on somebody to start something. I'm like, oh, that's what we need to do? Let me find 5 or 6 people who think like me. Like I tell my students, find me 5 to 10 kids that want to do the same thing you want to do. And guess what? That's a field trip. Guess what? We going somewhere to eat. So we're going to sit down in these places. I remember a couple years ago, I took some kids out to, I think it was Debbie Dingo or Warren Evans. Somebody was speaking. I just let us say the forum. And one of the students says, Mr. Wheeler, first of all, what is that? I said, that's quiche. They kind of looked at me a little funny, like, what's quiche? I'm like, that's nothing but an egg McMuffin. Don't even worry about that. Don't be intimidated by the word quiche. But another one was like, well, what fork should I use? I said, look, and so I go personal. I said, I didn't know till I got to college. Outside in. Because some of these young people are eating by themselves, eating in their bedrooms without family time. So I ain't got time to judge them. My time is to educate you, make you feel comfortable so that now you can not feel like you're embarrassed. Because that's why you're not saying anything, because you're embarrassed. You're embarrassed to try something new. I said, just try it. If you don't like the keys, guess what? We'll leave here. We'll go to White Castle, Burger King, Red Robin, wherever y'all want to go. But you got to at least try it. So then you will know, for a matter of fact, if you like it or not.
And that is a great story. And my husband has a youth league, and it was interesting because there was a young man who we sort of mentored, and we took him out to eat. You know, he was doing some things with us in terms of helping out at the youth league, and he was very helpful. And so we wanted to treat him. So we took him to a nice restaurant, nothing fancy, but it was something more than what he knew. What was interesting, he didn't know how to really use a knife and fork. And he, at the time, was about 14 years old. And he was cutting his food, and I looked at him and I was like, wow. And so I said, can I help you? I said, watch me. I said, and I'll show you how to cut. And he said, okay. And what he confided in us later was he wasn't used to eating with silverware, because he ate out of a paper bag. Not that he was eating garbage, he was eating fast food. So if it was a hamburger wrapped in plastic, or French fries or onion rings or something like that in a container, he didn't really use a knife and a fork to even know how to cut. So when you talk about taking kids and exposing them even to just different types of foods, that is something that will go with them for a long time, because it'll give them courage where they'll go, hey, you know, when I was in the 9th grade, I tasted quiche. You may not like it, but when you grow up and you go someplace and somebody has, you be like, oh, I've had that before. Either you like it or not. And at least it gives you a point to discuss, because you can say, I've done that. So many kids, as you said earlier, live in this 6-block radius where they never leave their block, they never leave their neighborhood. And we've met kids in the youth league who are like that, who will tell you, oh, I only live in Southwest Detroit, or oh, I only live in the East Side. And I'll say, and they'll ask me, where did I get something? And I'll say, oh, I went to such and such. Oh, that's far. I'm like, oh, it's right across the river. And they're like, that's another country. I'm like, and you go there. But these are things, because the adults around them, as you said, haven't introduced them to them, have hurt them, have lied to them, they aren't exposed to. And then what you see is these same young people take that same behavior that you're trying to change and get them to improve upon, so that you can educate them and pull that potential out of them, as you said. They go ahead and repeat that same thing and end up having kids, and we start over again, it seems.
I concur. I think that young people, especially now, they have so much at their fingertips, but they also are dealing with far more than I've dealt with as a kid. And I dealt with a lot. So I'm thinking, now when I'm working with young people, you see it. You hear the stories, and that's why you have to celebrate them when they're here. We got to celebrate them when they have achievement. We cannot have achievement envy. I think what upsets me sometimes in the community is when people say stuff like, oh, a degree ain't nothing but a piece of paper. You're lying. It's far more than that. It is far more than that. I don't care if you got a certification. That means completion. That means goal setting. I set a goal and I accomplished it. I endured, I persevered, I had some resilience. I know how to team build. I know how to stay up late and get up early. I grinded for this. I dare you say you minimize my achievement. I don't care if I'm a carpenter, I'm a mechanic, you're not gonna minimize this child's achievement because they set a goal and they accomplished it. I tell them to set simple goals. Give me a goal from 9th to 10th grade. I'm gonna pass every class. I'm gonna graduate, I'm gonna pass the 9th grade. And I'm gonna get to the 10th grade. The 10th grade is second base, Kim. When you at second base, guess what? You have a direct line to home plate. You can see home plate. I get you to third base, that's 11th grade. Now you rounding home. You see home plate, you're there. And when you cross home plate, we should be cheering as loud as we can for these young people. Because guess what? Some of them, we ain't losing to death, we're losing to life itself.
Yes.
And so adults have to cheer for young people, build relationships. These young people are smart, they're gifted, they all not doing bad, but we don't celebrate those who are doing good. Even the kids that's doing bad can turn it around.
Right.
They can go from last to first, go in the other direction, get some maturity, but we're asking them to do things that adults would not do. When I see adults on the side of the freeway saying we'll work for food, something happened in that person's life where they gave up. These kids ain't giving up, Kim. They catching the bus early in the morning to go to school. Some of them getting robbed at the bus stop. Some of them getting, these things should not be happening as I try to go to school. I should not be getting robbed of my iPhone, of my Jordans, of my starter jacket. I am trying to go to school, which is my fundamental civil right. And here you come along and victimize me and traumatize me. Now I'm not going to school at all. Okay, whatever. Until now you have a large platform of virtualness where kids can now learn on the computer and to be okay, as opposed to before they wanted you in the classroom. These kids deserve far more than what we're giving them. And I just want to be a conduit. I want to have a legacy of helping young people, because I promise you, I stand on the shoulders of so many people who love me past my own pain, who love me and believed in me, but I didn't believe in myself. And so I know that if it can happen for me, it can happen for them. That challenges are inevitable, being defeated is optional. We can do this, but it's going to have to be collectively. Everybody got a skill set. I don't know everything. As long as I know something, I'm doing something. If we all do something, no one has to do everything. Just do a little bit. Somebody else does a little bit. All of a sudden, guess what? The village is growing. It's resourceful. It's prosperous for our young people. And I'll say this, since we also got to look at changing the curriculum, making school fun again. Your electives should be fun. I have no idea why they gave me biology. I have no idea why. Biology never did anything for me. I don't want to cut up no frogs. I don't want to do none of those things. Put me somewhere else. Give me some debate. Give me some other kind of classes where I can talk, I can touch people. That's where I want to be at. Make school fun. My elective options should be things that I want to do. If I want to be an entrepreneur, then let me learn how to get my LLC. Let me learn. Every kid, I'm glad I said that. Every kid should be able to walk out of high school with an LLC. Learning about taxes, learning about finances, learning about credit, how to build your credit, how to ruin your credit, real live testimonies. Quit playing with other stuff that is non-applicable. That's why kids are not interested, Kim, because some of this stuff is non-applicable to what I'm trying to do. I want to be a barber. So guess what? I should be going to co-op at a barber college. I should be going to co-op at a hair salon. Why is co-op just for kids who are going into the factory? Come on. Let's make this thing fun for young people. Give them what they need, and I guarantee they'll give you more back in return.
Amazing. Amazing. So I've got to ask, how can we support you? Tell us where people can donate or drop off or join you in your mission.
I will say my cell number is 313-819-0040. Just stay in touch. I'm on all the social media platforms. We're getting ready to do our back to school rally in September. So we're going to be collecting backpacks. But within those backpacks are not just school supplies. They're also toiletries because our young people need adult wipes. They need body wash. They need deodorant because they're on the move sometimes. And they're living in different places, couch surfing or whatever it may be in a shelter. But those kids should still be clean. So you can contact me. I'll give them, I think we're doing our back to school rally like August 27th from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. at River Rouge. We're going to try to supply about 1,500 backpacks for kids. Just make sure that kids have what they need to start school. Because if you have what you need, Kim, you'll come to school. Kids don't come because they don't have what they need. If I don't have clean socks, shoes, a coat, a hat, I mean, it's Michigan. I need all that. You know,
absolutely.
And so, you know, I just want to help young people for the rest of my life. I want to be able to give back to my community and leave it in a far better place than when I got it.
Amazing. All right. So you told us where we can donate. Do you have a website or any place that people can look, or should they just call you?
Just call me. Yeah, that's far better. Just call me because my phone is on. I'm always on the phone. That's the easiest way to get a hold of me.
All right. Tell us your phone number again, Terrence.
Area code 313-819-0040.
Thank you, Terrence, for being on the Kim B. Davis Show. We so appreciate you, all that you do, and I'm sure that we'll have you back on to come and tell us some more about the fascinating things that are happening within the community.
My pleasure, sister. My pleasure. Be blessed.
Thank you. Thank you guys for tuning into the Kim B. Davis Show. You know, you can find me on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Snapchat, LinkedIn, TikTok, and you can find me under Kimberly Batchelor Davis. Bachelor is spelled BATCHELOR. You can also find out more about me as an author at kimbdavis.com. You can see this show on youtube.com/Kimberly Batchelor Davis. You can also tune in at Apple, Spotify, Google, and Stitcher. Thank you again for tuning in. We hope you'll join us on our next episode. And as always, remember, be magnificent.